What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is a little unexpected video. Today is Thanksgiving, and I was getting ready to drive over to Huntsville to go see my parents and my sisters, and my car won't let me put any gas in it. I'm talking about the Audi. Whenever I go to put gas in it, the gas filler nozzle clicks within 30 seconds of turning the gas on. I tried several different gas stations, several different gas pumps at the different gas stations, and every one of them did the same thing. And I can hear pressure building up in the tank and it's not being released. So I have a valve sticking somewhere. So I'm going to show how to diagnose why this thing won't work, and hopefully be able to show you how to fix this thing in this quick little video. So hope y'all hope this helps somebody out that's dealing with the same issue. Hopefully we'll get it squared away. All right, guys, so the first thing I'm going to check is I've got the Audi up in the air on the back, and I'm going to pull the cover that's covering the charcoal canister. It's underneath the spare tire well. It's 3 10mm bolts, one right there, there, and there. Take those off and you'll see the charcoal canister. All right, once you get those 3 nuts off, you can just pull the cover off, set it out of the way. Here's your charcoal canister. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this hose, disconnect both of these hoses, and I'm going to pull the charcoal canister out and make sure it's not clogged. All right, everybody, so I got the charcoal canister removed. I've got air flowing in this hole, and coming out of this hole. So the filter, or the charcoal canister, is not clogged. This little pre-filter is clogged up completely. It won't let air flow through it at all. This is apparently a discontinued part as well. So I don't know if I'm going to go try and find one at the junkyard, and I'll just run the car without evap for the little drive that I got to do going up to the junkyard. But I'm more than likely going to cut this apart, see if I can find out what's actually wrong with it, so I can show what I'm going to do to fix it, because this is preventing me from being able to fill up the gas tank. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bolt this thing back in, and I'm not going to put this back on there. I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to hook up the 2 vent lines that go to the filler neck. This is the only thing that won't be hooked up, which is what goes to the leak detection pump. But everything else will still be hooked up. So it won't be able to pressurize the tank, but oh well. Because it won't have any hookup to the leak detection pump. The leak detection pump is what seals the system. Or at least that's what does it on other cars. It should be the same way on this one. But I can't get air to go through this at all, and that's how it pressurizes the system to see if you have a leak in your fuel system. So if it's only able to pump air from this fitting over to the leak detection pump, which is up in the passenger side wheel, or the driver's side rear wheel well, that's all it's pressurizing, is that hose up to the leak detection pump, and it's not pressurizing the whole system. So it doesn't know if there's a leak in the rest of the system. It's only checking from this little filter up to the leak detection pump. So I'm going to take this apart, see if I can find out why it's clogged, why it won't let air go through it. And if I break it, oh well, I'll gut it and just make it to where it freaking goes through. If not, I'll go to the junkyard, or I'll buy a new one. I gotta have this car, so I'm gonna tear this thing apart and see what I can figure out. All right, guys, so I got this apart. You can see all this filter is just a pass-through. I'm guessing that it's charcoal as well, but it's chipped on the one side, and then there was a bunch of this shit was falling apart inside of there. You can see it just crumbling apart. And then this filter, this paper filter right here, is dirty as can be. I already cleaned some of the shit off of it, but there's no airflow going through that. That's what's causing me to have a blockage in the system. So I'm gonna try and clean this one out and glue it back together to try and make it work until I can find a replacement one, because oh shit, I didn't think the wind was gonna blow that away. This is a discontinued part. The only way you can get it is to buy the $600 charcoal canister as a complete unit. They don't sell the filter by itself. So I'm not trying to spend 600 bucks on a damn charcoal filter. I'll freaking delete that shit before I do that. But I'm gonna try and fix it and make it work so that I can drive to Florida Monday. Because I gotta be in Ocala, Florida on Monday. So I'm gonna try and clean that up. I'm gonna get some carb cleaner, clean it with some carb cleaner. I'll glue it back in here with some super glue. And then I will put this back together. I'll put it on the car so that I can get the angles correct, and then I'll epoxy it back together. And we'll go from there. All right, so I'm epoxying the end cap back together. I cut a little too far in and wound up cutting that entire lip right there off. So I'm epoxying that back together. Once I get that to dry, I'm just using some quick set and epoxy. It should be done in about 15 minutes. Then I'm gonna glue that back together, that little filter. I'll mount it into the car, figure out where the orientation needs to be, because I forgot to mark it before I cut it apart. But I'll put it back in the car, mark the orientation, put a little epoxy on there so that I can know where it needs to be. And then I'll pull it back out and glue it together, and hopefully I'll be on my way in about an hour. We'll see. All right, guys, so I've got it epoxied back together. It's a little messy, but it'll work. So I'm gonna let that dry for about a half hour, maybe an hour. Then I'm gonna run up to the gas station and see if it works. All right, everybody, that wound up fixing the issue with my car not being able to accept fuel. I just wound up cutting that pre-filter apart, cleaning it, gluing it back together, and now I can fill my tank without it stopping every freaking $1.50, whatever the hell it was stopping at. I mean, I couldn't even get a quarter of a gallon in there without it clicking the auto stop. And now I've filled my tank up 3 times since I fixed it. I wanted to make sure that it was completely fixed before I made this last little bit of the video, but it definitely fixed the issue. So if you have this problem, if you don't want to go through cutting the thing apart and cleaning it like I did, then you're looking at replacing the entire charcoal canister, because they do not sell the pre-filter separate. So hopefully this helps people with the same issue. If it did, like always, please help me out. Give me a like, follow, share. Let your friends see what I'm doing, and catch you in the next video. I've been working on the Veloster. Gotten a pretty good bit of stuff done to the front end as far as welding up my little patch panels and stuff. So hopefully the next update on that will be sandblasting and priming the front firewall. So hope y'all tune in for that. Maybe be next week or the week after, and we'll go from there. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll check you in the next video. Have a great one.